So today we take up for discussion Act 1, Scene 3 of Othello. Well, in Act 1, Scene 3, we see that there are reports of a Turkish attack on Cyprus. Cyprus, as far as Venice is concerned, is a territory. Venice has territorial control over Cyprus. It is an island. It is its own territory, administrative territory. So the reports say that Turkey is planning to launch an attack on Cyprus. So Othello is immediately summoned by the Duke, and Othello comes in, followed by Brabantio, Iago, Cassio, and others. The Duke immediately appoints Othello to Cyprus, but soon Brabantio complains about the abduction of his daughter Desdemona the abduction of Desdemona by Othello. Brabantio says that Desdemona has been abused, seduced, charmed by black magic and drugged by Othello. Otherwise, in normal course, naturally, it is not likely that a girl like Desdemona would prefer to marry this dark, devilish Negro. It is most unlikely that a girl would choose to marry a person like Othello. But then the Duke and the senators are a little bit shocked. They tend to believe what Brabantio says, but then Duke and others come to learn that it is the person who seduced, abducted Desdemona is Othello. Well, they doubt, they suspect. They cannot believe that Othello would do such a thing. Well, they ask Othello. Othello says, well, he has nothing to say. Well, he says he's a soldier. He doesn't have that eloquence, that communication skills, that powerful oratorial skills to narrate a story. But he is ready to say, well, what has happened. And he asks the Duke and the senators to summon Desdemona. Let her say for herself what exactly has happened. And the Duke sends for Desdemona. In the meantime, Othello narrates what exactly happened. He says, well, from the age of 7, from the time when he was 7 years old, he has been, waging wars. He has been a soldier. Well, until now, he has traveled in different countries. He has fought, hundreds of battles all around the world in different climatic and geographical situations. Well, he has had a tough time. He was taken as a slave several times by different countries, and then he escaped from all those difficult situations, and finally, he has become a man like this. At last, well, everybody knows that he's a He is a very, very tough soldier. Very otherwise, a country like Venice, a person like the Duke of Venice would not appoint him as the general of the army. Well, he says Brabantio used to invite him to his house to listen to his harrowing stories, and when he would narrate the stories, Desdemona would be listening to the stories, and she would feel very, very sympathetic, very compassionate and sympathy. She would be moved by the story. Well, then afterwards, Brabantio used to invite him, whenever he got time, he used to invite him to his house to listen to the story, and Desdemona would listen to him. Well, then Desdemona, she wanted to listen to his stories, more and more. She wanted to listen to the details of the stories, and then she was moved to listening to the story. She was moved to tears, and finally she fell in love with him, and he loved her, and they got married. This is exactly what exactly happened, and this is a story that Othello narrates. So let us start Act 1, Scene 3. The Duke of Venice. Well, first they talk about the threat, the Turkish threat on Cyprus. The Duke of Venice. There is no composition in this news that gives them credit. He says, the reports, several reports about the preparations of the Turkish preparations for the Cyprus attack are coming. Several reports are coming, but the reports are inconsistent. You can't. It is very difficult for us to trust the reports that gives them credit. Then the first senator says, indeed, they are disproportionate. Yes, the reports are inconsistent. There is no consistency in the reports. My letters say 107 galleys. The reports that I have got say that there are 107 warships, galleys. Well, the Duke of Venice, mine 140. See the difference, the inconsistency in the reports, the differing versions of the reports. One report says 107 ships, another report says 140 ships. Well, the second senator says, and mine 200. Well, different, inconsistent reports. But though they jump not on a just account, and in these cases where the aim reports, it's oft with difference. Yet, well, even though there is a lot of difference between the reports, even though the reports are inconsistent, well, as far as the number of warships are concerned, the number of warships sent by Turkey is concerned, well, there is a lot of difference. There is wide difference. But still, they all confirm. They confirm what? That what the most important thing is that they all say that a Turkish fleet is approaching Cyprus. Well, an attack is imminent. That is certain, because they do confirm a Turkish fleet of ships, a group of ships, and bearing up to Cyprus. They are moving towards Cyprus. That is for sure. Duke of Venice. Nay, it is possible enough to judgment. I do not so secure me in the error, but the main article I do approve. I have note about what they are basically saying. That is the gist, the most important thing of the report, the most important point of the report is that, well, there is an imminent attack by Turkey on Cyprus. All the reports agree on that particular point. Well, the main article I do approve. in fearful sense. Well, it is frightening. Then a sailor, oh, what ho, what ho, what ho. The sailor, calls out. Then the first officer, well, it is a messenger from the galleys. Who is that? It's a messenger coming from the galleys, the warships. So some important message is being brought. The Duke of Venice. Now, what's the business? Yes. Oh, why are you here? What's the point of your coming here? Why? What's the point? Then the sailor says, Sir, the Turkish preparation makes for roads. And so was I bid report here to the state by Signor Angelo. Signor Angelo has told me to report to your honor that the Turkish fleet is heading for Rhodes, R-H-O-D-E-S, to Rhodes, another island, not towards Cyprus. So we don't have to worry. The Duke says, how say you by this change? Now, why this change? I don't know. I don't understand why this change. Is it not Cyprus? What do you think about this change? Then the first senator says, well, this cannot be. But because by no assay of reason, there is no way this can be true. It is a pageant. It must be a trick. It must be a pageant to keep us in false haste. It is a trick to mislead us, to misguide us. When we consider the importance of Cyprus to the Turk, to let ourselves again but understand, well, think of the importance of Cyprus to the Turks. As far as Cyprus is concerned, it is a very, 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 important, a very, very significant territory to the Turks. They have a lot of interest in Cyprus. In Cyprus, so it cannot be. It is impossible that the Turks would move towards the roads instead of Cyprus. And let us again but understand that as it more concerns the Turk than the roads, so may he with the more facile question bear it, for that it stands not in such warlike grace, and altogether lacks the abilities but the roads is dressed in. If we make thought of this, we must not think that Turkey is so unskillful to leave that latest which concerns him first, neglecting an attempt which concerns him, neglecting an attempt of ease and gain, to wake and wage a danger profitless. Well, keep some points in our mind that we can't possibly imagine that the Turks would be so foolish, so incompetent as to put off for last what they want to achieve first. Because as far as the roads is concerned, it is war ready. There is a complete preparedness in roads. There is a war preparedness. It is fully protected, completely protected. But the place that is not so protected is Cyprus. So it is easy for them to invade. It is easy for them to attack and to succeed. So this attack is easy. It will easily become successful. So this is easy. So they will naturally take this first. But roads, as far as roads is concerned, it is very, very tough and difficult. So they will leave it for the last. You can't simply imagine that the Turks are foolish people. They are incompetent people, so unskillful to leave the latest which concerns him first. So it is impossible. The Duke of Venice says, nay, in all confidence, he is not for roads. The Turks are not for roads. Then the first officer, here is more news. Enter a second messenger. A second messenger comes. Well, messenger, sir, the Ottomanites, the Turks, the Ottomanites, Reverend Gracious, steering with due course towards the Isle of Rhodes, have there enjoined them with an after fleet. Well, the Turks sailed to Rhodes where they joined with another fleet. Then the first, that is just what I thought. How many can you guess? How many can you guess? Oh sir, 30 sail. Now, what happens is, they have turned around. First they sailed towards Rhodes, and they turned around and moving. They re-stamped their backward course. They are moving back, bearing with the frank appearance their purpose towards Cyprus. So they are moving towards Cyprus. Senior Montano, your trusty and most valiant servitor, with this free duty recommends you thus, and prays you to believe him. So now it is for sure, it is now certain that the Turks, first of course they sailed towards Rhodes, then they re-stamped, they returned, they turned around, and now they are, at present they are clearly heading for Cyprus. Senior Montano, your brave and loyal servant, gives you this information and asks you to send reinforcements, suddenly send reinforcements to relieve him, prays you to believe him. Then Duke of Venice, yes, it is certain then for Cyprus. So that is now final. What? The Turks are moving towards Cyprus. Marcus Lokikos, is he not in town? Then the first senator says, yes sir, he is now in Florence. Now Duke of Venice, write promise to him. Dispatch a letter immediately. Send a letter to him immediately. Ask him to come on here. Summon him. Ask him to come here. Right. So enter Brabantio, Othello, Cassio, Iago, Rodrigo. So we were expecting these people. We were expecting these people to come. But remember, the Duke believes that Brabantio comes because of the emergency, the important situation, the significant, because of the emergency arising out of the Turkish threat to Cyprus. But he has his own problems. He is coming with his own problems. Brabantio, he has lost his daughter. He believes that she has been abducted. She has been seduced by Othello. Well, he has come here to report that. First senator says, here comes Brabantio, the valiant Moor, and the valiant Moor, Brabantio and Othello. Duke of Venice, oh valiant Othello, we must straight employ you. Straight away we are employing you against the general enemy, Ottoman. We are appointing you to lead the struggle, the battle, war against the Ottoman, the Turkey. And to Brabantio, oh sir, I did not see you. Welcome, gentle senior. We lacked your counsel. We lacked your advice and your help tonight. Oh, we missed you. Where were you? I didn't see you first. Otherwise, I would have greeted you. I would have addressed you. Brabantio, so did I yours. Good your grace, pardon me. Neither my place, nor aught I heard of business. It is not, I didn't get out of the bed because of what I heard of the war. It is not the news about the war, the imminent Turkish attack on Cyprus, that I got out of the bed because I had some personal problems. I heard of business hath raised me from my bed, nor doth the general care take hold on me. For my particular grief, my personal grief, is so floodgate and overbearing nature that it engluts and swallows other sorrows, and it is still itself. I have a personal problem, he says. It is so painful. It is so gut-wrenching. It is so painful. It is so horrendous. It is so great that it overwhelms everything else. My own personal sorrow. That is something very, very important to me. Duke of Venice. Why? What's the matter? Well, Brabantio says, oh my daughter, Then Duke and senators believe, well, his daughter may be dead. What happened? Dead? Brabantio, yes. Hey, to me, she is dead. Not a physical death, but, well, she has eloped with Othello without his permission and knowledge, so it is as good as dead. She is abused, stolen from me, and corrupted by spells and medicine, by magic. Not white magic, but black magic. By spells and medicines, what of mountebanks? She has been drugged. Illegal drugs, illegitimate, unlawful drugs, sold by mountebanks, quacks, by quack doctors, not legal practitioners, medical practitioners, but illegal medical practitioners, for nature so preposterously err. Otherwise, if it is not with drugs or black magic, there is no way she could have made this mistake on her own. It is impossible that she would make a mistake like this. By nature so preposterously to err, being not deficient, blind, or lame of sense, sans witchcraft could not. Sans witchcraft. Without sans, without witchcraft, it cannot be like this. Duke, whoever be that, whoever tricked your daughter, whoever be that in this foul proceeding, have thus beguiled your daughter of herself, and you of her, the bloody book of law, you shall yourself read in the bitter letter after your own sense. Yea, though our proper son stood in your action, whoever tricked your daughter and stole her from you will pay for it. He will be punished, whoever it is, even if it is going to be my son. Even if it is going to be my son who has seduced and abducted Desdemona, your daughter, well, he will be punished and impose death penalty if you choose to. You can sentence him. You can give out. You can give a sentence of death penalty on that person, even if that person is going to be my own son, even if the criminal were my own son. This is what Duke of Venice says. Well, Brabantio, I humbly thank your grace. Here is the man. He points to Othello. Here is the man. This Moor, whom now it seems your special mandate for the state affairs hath hither brought. I thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your opinion. But here's the man. Who is it? The Moor, Othello. It seems you had just your own reasons for summoning him, because you have just given him a mandate, an order, an appointment. Well, that is for something else. But this is my personal grievance, because he had stolen my daughter. So he is the one who has done that. Then Duke of Venice, we are very forced. Everybody says we are very sorry for that. Duke of Venice says, what in your own part can you say to this? He asks Othello, what have you got to say? Do you have anything to say about this? Then Brabantio, nothing but this is so. Othello, he answers, look at the way he talks. He says, well, most potent, grave, and reverend seniors, my very noble and approved masters, that I have taken away this old man's daughter is most true. O noble and honorable gentleman, whom I serve, because he is the general, he is serving the nation. Here is the Duke and the senators, noble and honorable gentlemen, whom I serve. It's true. What he said is true. It is true that I have taken this man's daughter from him and married her. That is true. But that is my only offense. I have married her. That is the only offense. That I have taken away this man's daughter, it is most true. And I have married her. The very head and front of my offending hath to this extent, no more. This is all. There is nothing more. I loved her, she loved me, and we have married. I have married her. Nothing more. Rude am I in speech. In conversation skills, I am awkward. I am rude. A little blessed with the soft phrase of space. For since these arms of mine had 7 years pith, well, see, from when I was 7 years old until about 9 months ago, until 9 moons wasted, until about 9 months. For the last 9 months, there were no wars, so I was taking rest. From the time when I was 7 years old until 9 years ago, well, they have used their dearest action in the tented field, and little of this world can I speak, more than pertains to feats of broil and battle, and therefore little shall I grace my course in speaking for myself. Well, from the time when I was 7 years old until 9 years ago, I have been fighting in battles, and I don't know much about the world apart from fighting. This is the only thing that I know about battles, about wars and fighting. Yet, by your gracious patience, I will around unvarnished tale deliver of my whole course of love. Well, I will tell you in my own defense, I will tell you a plain story. It is not an ornate story. It is not with the high sounding words, because I don't have that conversation skill. That the speech, to make an extempore speech or to deliver a beautiful speech, I don't have that oratorial skills. I don't have that eloquence. I don't have that conversation skills. But the thing that I am going to say is a plain story without ornaments of my whole course of love. I will tell you about the story of my love. What drugs and charms, what conjuration, and what mighty magic for such proceeding I am charged with, because he has charged me with using black magic, using drugs brought from mountebanks, from charlatans, from quack doctors. He said all these things. He has insulted me. He has made several charges and accusations against me. But I will tell you the story of my plain love, how I won his daughter. Plainly, I will tell you. Brabantio says, a maiden never bold, of spirit, so still and quiet. Well, she's a very good girl, very quiet and obedient. That her motion blushed at herself, that she, in spite of nature, of years, of country, credit, everything, to fall in love with what she feared to look on. Do you want me to believe that despite her young age and proper upbringing, she fell in love with a man that she is afraid to look at? This figure is very, very, fearful to look at. Do you think such an innocent girl would fall in love with such a figure that inspires only horror? Do you believe? It's a judgment maimed. It's a judgment maimed and most imperfect, that will confess perfection, so could err against all rules of nature, must be driven to find out practices of cunning hell. Why this should be? I therefore vouch again, with some mixtures of powerful the blood, or with some dram conduit this he wrought upon her. I am sure that he must have used some powerful drug and magic, some magical potion on her. Otherwise, she wouldn't take. It is most probable that he has used two things. Number one, black magic. Number two, some illegal, powerful drugs bought from quack doctors, unqualified, illegal doctors. This is the only way that he can influence her, an innocent girl like my daughter. Duke of Venice says, to vouch this, there is no proof. Well, there is no evidence. These are all charges. These are all accusations. But there isn't any proof. Without more wider and more overt test, without some conclusive evidence and proof, then these sin habits and poor likelihoods, these are all probabilities. Without any evidence, without any proof, without any supporting evidence of modern seeming to prefer against him. How can you do that? It is only these are only charges, accusations. Then the first senator, but Othello, speak. Did you, by direct, indirect, or forced causes, subdue and poison these young maidens' affections? Or came it by request and such a fair question as soul to soul affordeth? Did you trick or deceive this lady in any way? Did you trick her? Did you deceive her? Did you cheat her? Did you use any black magic? Or did you agree to this as equals? Or was it a normal affair? Then Othello says, I request you, sir, I do beseech you, send for the lady to the sagittary. Well, she is living there. She is staying there in the sagittary, in the inn, I-N-N, in the inn. Well, send for her. Summon her. Let her speak of me before her father. Well, her father is standing here. Let her come here. So in front of him, let her speak. If you find me foul in her report, if she is accusing me, if she says that I have used some irregular means to seduce her, if she says that I seduced her, if she says that I used black magic, then the trust, the office I do hold of you, and the general, you have appointed me the general, you can dismiss me. You can take it away, the post. Not only take away, but let your sentence even fall upon my life. You can give me a capital punishment, you can kill me. Well, Duke of Venice says, fetch Desdemona hither. Fetch her hither. Othello, the ancient, he's asking his faithful, flag bearer, ancient Iago, conduct them. Please go and bring them. You best know the place. You know where she stays. The sagittary. Go there. Please bring them. Until the time she comes, as truly as to heaven, I do confess the vices of my blood, the sins that I have committed. So, in the meantime, I will tell you what exactly happened. I do confess the vices of my blood, vices, the wickedness, the sins of my blood. So justly to your grave ears I present how I did thrive in this fair lady's love, and she in mine. How will we happen to love each other and finally married. I will tell you the story, in the meantime. So please send for her. Iago will bring her here. So I think at line number 125, we'll call it a day. We'll stop here. Okay, hope it's very, very clear. So the emergency arising out of the Turkish threat of attack, invasion on Cyprus. Well, Othello is appointed to lead the army. Brabantio comes. He talks about his personal problem, that his beautiful daughter, young daughter, has been abducted by black magic and potent, powerful drugs by Othello. Then, well, at first, the Duke and the senators tend to believe him, but Othello says, no, sir, it was just a natural course. Let Desdemona come. Until she comes, he's going to narrate the story of his love to Desdemona and Desdemona's love to him and their final marriage. Okay, see you. Thank you very much.